Imagine going on a date. Everything seems perfect. She's funny, confident, interesting. But at the back of your mind, you wonder, how do I really know about her past? Are there things she's not saying? Today you're going to learn the 7 hidden signs a woman may have slept with a lot of men, and what the experts, psychology, and even women themselves say these details really mean. Before we dive in, I want you to keep one thing clear. This isn't about judging anyone's past. It's about understanding human behavior, picking up subtle cues, and recognizing patterns that can spark deeper, more honest conversations. After all, it's your right to know the person you're with, just like it's hers. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's get started. First, why does this topic matter so much to so many people? For generations, society has quietly, and sometimes not so quietly, worried about women's sexual histories. In pop culture, it's a recurring theme. Whatever your reason, you clicked this video because you want to understand the signs, the hidden ones that aren't about just what someone says, but how they act and relate. Now, there's no universal scoreboard. Every person and relationship is unique, but there are social and psychological patterns that tend to show up when someone, specifically a woman, has had a particularly extensive romantic past. Often, these signs are unconscious, slipping into the way she talks, flirts, or relates to others. Let's start with the first hidden sign, and it's likely one you've heard before, but never really thought about. Sign number 1. I just get along better with guys. Have you ever chatted with a woman who mentions, almost in passing, I just get along better with guys? Maybe you thought, she's just a tomboy, or she doesn't do drama. But let's look deeper. This isn't just about not liking girl talk. It often means she's comfortable as the center of attention among men, and she's used to male energy, flirting, and even negotiating boundaries. Researchers and dating coaches point out that women who've had a lot of male friends or social circles dominated by men typically understand the rules of that dynamic. Why? Because often they've been up close to the dating game and may have played it more than once. This phrase is a subtle cue. If she's unusually comfortable with guys, odds are she's had significant relationship or, let's say, intimate experience with several. Sign number 2, I don't do labels. Next, let's talk about commitment. If you're hearing phrases like, I don't do labels, or I'm just seeing where things go, that's not just a sign of chill vibes. It's sometimes a carefully maintained stance. Commitment-resistant language can be a cover for someone who's enjoyed, or become accustomed to, multiple overlapping romantic or sexual connections. Why would someone avoid labels? Because labels limit options. And if someone's had a habit of juggling several relationships, keeping their status ambiguous makes it easier not to get tied down. This doesn't mean every girl who hates labels is hiding a wild past. But combined with the other signs we'll cover, it's a strong indicator that she's been down that road before and liked the view. Sign number 3. I don't regret anything. I learned from every experience. This one's really interesting. Let's say you ask her about her previous relationships, and instead of the usual, it just didn't work out, she hits you with, I don't regret anything. I learned from every single experience. On the surface, this sounds empowering. It's a mature statement. If someone's had many short-term or impulsive encounters, framing all those as learning experiences is a defense mechanism. She's strategically managing how you see her history and turning any regret or negative perception into a sign of growth. Of course, many people, men and women, genuinely learn and evolve through their past relationships. But if every ex was just another lesson and every hookup becomes personal evolution, it's possible she's editing her own history for public consumption. This is where emotional awareness meets public relations, narrative control. Sign number 4, emotional detachment. experts say repeated casual experiences can impact the way someone bonds, especially for women, given how brain chemistry works. When a woman first has sex, her brain releases oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, making her feel emotionally connected to her partner. Also, if you're ready to fast-track your success, check out my new course in the description or comments for exclusive strategies. If, over time, she talks about intimacy as just a thing, or treats sex more like a handshake than a meaningful act, this can be a sign of emotional burnout. She might seem numb, jaded, or disconnected from the emotional side of intimacy, not because of trauma, but simply from overexposure without emotional return. This isn't a badge of honor or a flex. Instead, it often reflects a protective adaptation, her way of not getting hurt anymore. Sign number 5, comfort with discussing body count, or deflecting it. Now, let's talk about the infamous body count question. If the topic comes up, watch how she reacts. Some women who've been with many partners are very comfortable discussing sexual histories, even joking or being nonchalant. Others do the opposite. They dodge the question, change the topic, or give vague answers. Why? Those who are comfortable may have come to terms with their history, possibly through repeated conversations, or by normalizing it among friends. What you rarely see is a strong, specific number with a detailed story behind each relationship, unless she comes from a very open background. Most often, the comfort or discomfort with this topic reveals more than the number itself. Social scientists even say that, in general, both genders tend to underreport their number to new partners. But if she's extremely vague, laughs it off, or immediately pivots the conversation, she likely has more past than she's letting on. Sign number 6, open attitude toward hookups, parties, and new experiences. Let's not ignore lifestyle. If she's regularly describing herself as adventurous or spontaneous and talks about late-night parties, wild trips, and having a YOLO attitude, this often correlates with a more exploratory romantic past. Of course, plenty of women live exciting lives without being promiscuous, but statistically, a pattern of chasing new experiences includes romantic ones. In fact, research consistently finds that openness to experience is correlated with a stronger and more varied dating life. You'll notice she might have stories with lots of male characters, minimal mention of long-term partners, and a hesitancy about monogamy. Pair these with frequent references to just living in the moment, and you're getting a picture of someone who doesn't tie intimacy to relationships the way many people do. Sign number 7, mixed signals about jealousy or commitment. Finally, let's look at behavior. Some women with many past partners become remarkably relaxed about jealousy and commitment. They'll say things like, "You do you," or "I wouldn't mind if you went out with friends," or even, "I don't care about your past as long as you don't ask about mine." Why? Sometimes emotional detachment from many short-lived relationships can make a person less sensitive to jealousy, almost too chill. Other times, the opposite happens. She might get more possessive or suspicious, assuming you're behaving the way she used to. Pay close attention to what makes her anxious versus what makes her completely unfazed. A comfort with boundaries can be healthy, but combined with everything above, ambiguous relationship status, living in the moment, and vague talk about sexual history, it's a subtle sign of someone who's been through enough relationships or hookups to stop caring deeply about the outcome each time. Now, before you start playing detective on every date, let's step back. These signs individually don't mean someone has a high body count. A woman can be open, adventurous, or emotionally detached for many reasons. Past pain, empowerment, culture, even career focus. But when several of these appear together, consistently, psychologists, dating coaches, and even women themselves agree that it often points to a long and varied romantic history. For others, it can mean numbness, detachment, or a guarded, strategic approach to love. The big lesson here isn't to judge, it's to see behind the surface. If you recognize these signs, use what you know to have honest, direct conversations. Don't accuse. Ask about values, beliefs, and what intimacy means to her now. Someone's past is never the full story. Their present and their willingness to be open matter much more. And now, a couple of myths busted. First, she may not even know her own number. Research on sexual memory shows that most people don't remember an exact number if they've had many casual partners. The stories blend together. Don't expect perfect recall, but do expect consistent honesty. Second, future behavior is more important than the past. If you see maturity, kindness, and a willingness to be honest, focus on building trust from there. Thanks for watching. If you want to get the results you wish for fast, then check my limited time offer on my new course, which will skyrocket your success in dating. Click the link right now down below in the description or in the comments and grab this opportunity. See you in there.